Hey there, I'm Annie Gishiru, racial equity coach for online business owners who are ready to build businesses that are racially equitable so they can be intentionally inclusive. Now, today's lesson is all around holding space as a racial equity coach for white tears. Now, if you haven't heard the term white tears, let me describe that for you before we get into the lesson. So white tears is essentially when white women are in spaces where they're learning about anti-racism work, and the lessons get so overwhelming that they are caught up in a lot of guilt and shame, and they start to cry, white tears. And the act of doing that a lot of times can be harmful because it takes away from the lesson that is being taught, the work that a lot of educators have spent time unpacking and sharing in order to help you, the white person, do better. So in the cases where these white tears are happening, the impact they have in a group setting or in the learning is that it takes away from what is being taught, and the focus now becomes on you, the white person, and the white tears that you're crying, that you're shedding. And it puts others in a position of now focusing on you to soothe you and to comfort you, which takes away from the whole idea and notion of trying to teach and show you about, the harmful impact, what all this work is all about, and the role that you can play being that genuine ally. But what I've come to learn as a coach who holds space on a number of occasions for a lot of white women who are online business owners who are trying to dig deeper into this work, what I've come to learn is that not all white tears are harmful. Not all tears that are being shed in the spaces that I hold are necessarily being done to hijack the session, but there are some that I have come across where it is a wound. It is from a past wound whereby they have done something that caused them to unintentionally exclude, and they've been called out. They've been called out rather viciously by other white women. And what that has done is that it's left a scar, it's left a wound that has never quite healed. And so having the space held for them by me or by a racial equity coach to support them to get from dealing with that discomfort, dealing with the pain of what they may have done, to get them to a point of healing. And so I have come to learn that white tears can lead to healing and the transformational inner work that happens to lead you to being that genuine ally. And so what I want to spend some time sharing today is some of the things that you can do if you've fallen into that place where you've done something where you did not know you are excluding, you've been called out, and now you're in a position where you're actually contemplating not doing the work anymore because it's just too difficult. You are dealing with pain, you're dealing with discomfort of the wrongs that you have, done, and you just don't know how to pass, to overcome that because there's a healing process that needs to take place. I want to share with you 4 things that you can do to get to that place where you are in a position to keep showing up, keep doing the work. You might still make mistakes because nobody is perfect. Even I make mistakes. So how can you keep showing up and keep doing the work? Because we need every single person making a contribution so that we can see the change that we so badly want to see. So the first step that you can take is to firstly journal your feelings. And you may be somebody who already journals or maybe not, but this is what I've found journaling to do. Journaling releases the grip of whatever it is that you're dealing with. It releases that grip because you're able to put what's in your mind down on paper. And often just that act of removing what's in your mind and in your head onto a piece of paper, you're able to see it plainly for what it is. And oftentimes the grip that it has on you isn't that strong anymore. And then it is taking the time to try and find out, where are these fears coming from? And writing that down. How are they making you feel? Where would you like to see yourself move into? How would you feel when you move into that space? And what actions can you begin to take? It actually is such a powerful exercise. And the more you do it, the more you will see how beneficial it is. The second thing that you can do is find somebody that you trust. Find someone who can support you through this journey. And I highly recommend that this be somebody who is qualified and trained in anti-racism work. It could be a coach, it could be a therapist, it could be a counselor, somebody who can support you so that they are able to help you move through that healing journey. And then the third thing that is important to do is for you to invest in doing the inner work. It's one thing to get support. It's one thing to, pay money and invest in somebody supporting you, but it'll do no good if you do not take the time to do the inner work yourself. And then when you couple that with the support that you're getting, that is where you begin to see the release and the healing begin to take place. And then number 4, and perhaps most importantly, my friend, do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself. I have been in situations where I have seen, women who have already given up and going like, this is too hard. What I went through, I wouldn't want to go through that again. But I didn't know a space like the one you hold, Annie, exists. And for me, being able to cry this out and be held in my vulnerability and not shamed, but be acknowledged and feel okay to bring this messy self and vulnerable pieces of me and be validated, has given me the little spark that I had lost into wanting to dive back into this work. And so do not give up on yourself. Keep going. The change that we want to see starts with us. If we want to see change, it's got to start with us. This is not work that we can pass on to other people to do. We've got to personalize this work in order for us to see the change that we wish to see. And that begins within our own spheres of influence. I want to end this by sharing with you a quote that I learned from Loretta J. Ross, who is an activist in social justice and an incredible teacher who has really taught in a way that aligns with me and my values, and taught about the art of calling in versus calling out. And one of the things she shared was from one of her mentors, Reverend C.T. Vivian, who said the words that when you ask people to give up hate, then you've got to be there for them when they do. And I thought those words were so powerful. And whilst the work that I do as a racial equity coach doesn't necessarily involve dealing with hate directly, it doesn't involve hateful people coming into my space. It involves people who are genuinely interested in doing this work. They have seen areas where there are gaps and they want to do better. They want to contribute to the betterment of their community, their businesses, and their lives personally. But this is just a quote that really resonated with me and has allowed me to see that when it comes to white tears, they are not all harmful. There are tears that lead to transformation. And when people can be allowed that space where they can come in and experience the love, the kindness, and the grace, then that's where we see true change, true transformation. And so I hope this lesson has been useful for you. Have yourself a beautiful week.